Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Ruskiv here and welcome to the 7th tutorial of Expression 3, where today we're going to be talking about user classes. Because it was so popular a request in E2, how could it not be in E3? So let's begin. I'm going to start, as I always do, by creating a server block. Okay, the next thing I want to do is define myself a class, a user class. Now, I am going to create a new vector object, and I'm going to create myself a simple vector4 object. Vector2 exists, vector3 exists, so let's create a vector4. Okay, first thing you do is you say you want to create a class using the class token, like that. You put class, then you give your class a name, so I'm going to call this class vector4, and then I'm just going to open my class. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to have an attribute for each one of my 4 coordinates. Okay. Now I don't know what the 4th coordinate is called, so I'm just going to call it W. Right. So I'm going to say number W equals 0. I'm going to say number WX equals 0. Number Y equals 0, and then number Z equals 0. Boom, 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 boom. Now, that creates in itself a vector object. A vector4 object. However, there's a problem. If I click validate, class vector4 requires at least one constructor, which essentially means we don't know how to construct this yet. So I need to tell the compiler how to construct the class. That's simple. So all I've got to do is just put vector4 down here, so the class's name. Then I open, for instance, put some arguments in. So this is the constructor. So I'm just going to say number x, number w, number y, x, number y, and then number z. So we've created a constructor here, and obviously that needs to be w and not 2, and then that will work. Okay. Now this isn't going to do anything, right? So I've created a constructor that takes 4 arguments, but it doesn't do anything. So what I need to do is make the constructor set the attributes of this object. The way we do that is using this. So this is a reserved space. That refers to the class that we are currently in, the class object. Okay, so we're going to set w to equals w, right? And we're going to do this with x, y, and z, right? Okay, and just for lols, what we'll do is we'll create another constructor which doesn't take any arguments, okay? We're just going to let that keep everything at its default value, which is 0, okay? So we've got 2 constructors here, one constructor which will leave everything at 0, and one constructor which will set w, x, y, and z, right? And that's our class. So all I've got to do now is say vector4 and define the variable. So vector4 myvec equals new vector4 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it like that, and you can see that works. So now we have created a vector object with 1, 2, 3, 4 using this constructor here. And if I wanted to use the constructor down there, the one without any arguments that sets everything to 0, well, I can use that as well. But for now, we're going to stick with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, how am I going to get or set w, x, y, and z independently? I can create a method for that. So what I'm going to do is I can come down here, and I'm going to say method, and I'm going to say int, and I'm going to say get w. I'm only going to create one method here, and that can be int, but I'm just going to use a number to keep my my tutorials consistent here. Right, and all I've got to do then is return this dot w. Oops, there we go. And then I can come down here and do system.print, and then I can do myvec.getW, like that. Boom, validate successfully. So what are we expecting to get? We're expecting this to print 1, okay, because I'm setting W here to be 1, okay. So I click that, and I get 1 in chat. Perfect, right? However, I don't need that, because these are attributes. W, X, Y, and Z are attributes in my class. So all I have to do is say myvec.w, and that validates. And if I pop it down, you get 1, okay? And I can change that the same way. I can say myvec.w equals 22, right? And boom, there we go, 22. And that's it. That's all you need to know when it comes to user classes. Or is it? Because there's one more layer to this. It's a little bit juicy, just a little bit juicy. And that is a little thing that I borrowed from Java, which is interfaces. So I can define a interface for my object, and that will be the next video. So the next video we're going to talk about interfaces. Anyway, that's all you need to know for now. Bye bye.